Good morning, everyone. You got the Bub031 here again, and we're at this month's February layout in Ottawa. So we're going to go around, take a peek at it, and wrap up and see a few trains go by. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello, everyone. Well, here we are at the layout. It was a very challenging layout, a big sweeping S-bend layout, which had two single track choke points. So we actually really had to use RTC this time to control all the trains. And here's what it looked like. All right, let's start off. So we do have all our locals on the board. The locomotive roster board wasn't ready yet. This was pretty early in the morning. So I actually helped sort of get some of the superintendent stuff set up. I grabbed all the passenger train cards and the freight train cards. So that way there we can get it sort of organized. As well, there's all the stats there. As you can see. Just get that all set up, as you can see there. And there's all our train boards. So that was all the trains to the layout. Many trains that were on this layout. And so we're starting up at the yard here. We're going to be heading east this time. So we're at Ottawa east of the yard. And then we sweep around on the long St. Lawrence River Curve Bridge, which was a duck under. We then have the first single track, which was still water into Jackfish Bay. This was a choke point, which then came off to Prescott. This was very handy during RTC. We then have Cremona, which leads to the back of the Philly yard. And then the Welsh modules, which was Monclevhug, Clindervan, Kerndale, and Rosebush, all in one little area. Small little bit of switching here. Not much. We then move on to Deerfield, a little scenery with a crossover, and then Beachburg siding, which goes to the back half of the Philly yard. We then come up to Jock River and Castor River West, which has Pana Station. This was Castor River Industrial. We are now coming in onto the east end here of Castor River East with the big sweeping curve of Ottawa River. We then come up to the main to go off to the branch lines, which was Three Bridges. We'll take a look at that after. Coming off from Three Bridges in the loop, we're now at Debojo. Busy little industry. We then have Reichenbach Falls with York River, which has an industrial spur at the other end. We then have Mandrake, Bell's Corners. We'll take a look after York River after. And then we have the high and low station of Bayview with an interchange. We then pass Arnprior Power and then Colonnade, and that brings us back to Three Bridges, around heading back to the west and onto the branch. I think I hear a train coming, so let's just sit back and take a peek at this. That was nice to see there. All right, we're now going to be moving westbound. So we're at the west end of Ottawa Yard, and as you can see, the yard was, all the cars were still being put in place just to make sure we were ready to go. We then come up to Apple Hill, and then Pine Point, which was a tight curve. Then we have Finch, and then this was the other single track, which was Rock Cut. right through Sturgeon, which came back to double track. This is sometimes a hard industry because you sometimes take up the main. We then move up to here, which was St. Anthony's Yard, the other yard on the layout. So we actually technically had 3 yards on the layout. We then have Moccasin Bridge with Hawthorne, a fully electronic switching portion Y. So then we are moving around to Granton City Bakery here. This was also fully electronic switches that you can either flip or you had to use your remote. We then have Glen Tay. And then we have the station at Fallowfield. The station wasn't on yet. Like I said, I took all the shots before we started running. So be mindful of that. It was pretty busy. All right. So we're going to go down York River Spur, which is MP Foods, Vesta, and Mansfield Junction, all here. This was an industrial spur this time on the layout. And at the end, we had little stub end 1. Just enough to get your train around and all that. And that was it. Now, coming off 3 bridges was the main branch line. So we had Anderson, and then we moved up through White River, and then Jeans, and coming in through the back of Mason Creek. On the back side, we also have Memorial Point. This is a new module we renamed. But then we came back into Mason Creek. And this was another choke point actually on the branch because there was like 3 or 4 trains always trying to get out. Next we have JGRC Bridge coming on to Whitecliff, which brings us down another spur, which we'll go after. We then have Connaught, Long Lac, a nice little single sweeping bridge curve, and then Orleans, which is a gravel pit. We then have Green Valley, a small interchange, and then we come up to South Keys, which was one of the main stations, with Willowdale, and then right at the end was Timber Grove. Coming off Wycliffe, we have Gary, which is just a crossover, a very handy crossover. Then we have Elwood, and then at the end we have Turntable. And that was pretty much it of the layout. Well, except for, of course, the fiddle yard. Sorry, my apologies. So yeah, if you do want to put your train on there, you can. You just had to make sure your pass was a through freight or a passenger train to go out on that. But this is where everyone assembles their trains sometimes, or at St. Anthony's Yards. And yeah. And of course on the back end, I know my camera's sideways. Be mindful, but this is how it was filmed. This is the yard master's area where they repair the cars, submit the alpha coatings to the card holders. And then we have the slots for each track for all the yard. So you can see all the train waybills. And then we have what's running this, which is Digitrax. And of course the computer is not up right now, but it's all run off of JMRI. But that's going to be pretty much it. And actually, I think I hear another train coming. Let's take a peek and watch it. Alright everyone, so that's going to be it for this layout tour of February 2024 here in Ottawa. I hope you all enjoyed. It is a little quiet now, but there is going to be more trains, and you will have seen that there are a few run-bys in this video. So, that's going to be it. There's going to be more videos to come. Thanks for watching, and as always, make sure the signal's green and keep moving down the line.